Right, do you want to talk about Hard Sun to start off with? Because we didn't do it last week.
I've ended up not watching the whole series, but I will explain why in a moment.
Have you watched 2 and 3?
I have watched 2 and 3, which is right in the middle of a double header, annoyingly, as well.
Yes, I've watched 2 and 3 as well.
Originally, we thought this was going to be a storyline over 6 episodes, but actually what it is a storyline in the background, the Hard Sun storyline, which influences 6 or 7 or 3 or 4 individual storylines. I mean, I didn't know this when I went into it, but episode 3 is the first of a double header. But episode 2 is a standalone episode, but does feature the Hard Sun storyline. When we left episode 1, they'd uncovered the Hard Sun storyline, which they've gone back to not being so sure about what it was. I thought the flash drive gave them information, but they're all still quite clueless, aren't they?
What I took from it was that Hard Sun is this government thing where they've discovered that in 5 years the world's going to end because the sun is just going to pack in.
Yeah.
Elaine, the Agnes Dean character, had this information, took it to a journalist who wrote the story, and then the MI5's lot basically covered it up, saying, oh, it was a massive hoax. Elaine released a video saying, you know, I've got all this information, if anything happens to me or my family or the family of people I work with, then it's all going to get released. The government is represented by the character played by Nikki Amuka Bird, who's going around sort of trying to interfere in the personal lives of Elaine and the Jim Sturgis character Charlie Hicks, and sort of trying to wrestle back this information. I think Elaine still has, you know, has got the flash drive with someone, we're not sure who it is. It's affecting the mental health of her son, who tried to kill her, and even though they've poo-pooed it as a hoax, there are certain conspiracy theorists who have believed it, and their reaction to it is to sort of try and kill as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Which then, to me, goes back to this being almost like Luther, because Luther had all these nutcases, and it went over like 2-part stories. I mean, do you want to talk about mainly episode 3, because that was the start of a...
I think the main thing to say is that what we get back to a lot more in episode 2 is the idea that she is investigating Detective Hicks, and his involvement with, is it the Nicholson family crime syndicate?
I think so, and his butler is his late partner, who he thinks
Butler,
has got something to...
And that's kind of, they get back a bit more to that, and then the Hard Sun storyline comes in as well. So in episode 2 you get that. In episode 3 we get the beginning of this storyline where
Richard Coyle.
Now he was a sort of an aid worker or a relief worker.
Missionary.
Missionary. And he has come back and obviously gone through something when he was out on missionary work. He's gone back to the priest of his local parish, and he's gone into confession. He's confessed that he's killed people or seen people killed.
Well, he killed the girl who worked at the suicide hotline, didn't he?
Yeah. He's not become ultra-Christian. He's ultra-religious, to the point where he is kind of questioning, religion and God and everything, and sort of taking some Bible stuff very literally. He starts killing people who are trying to help people. And there's lots of references to the biblical story of Job, where, for those unfamiliar, it was a very nice, helpful person who God and the devil had an argument over, and they persecuted to see whether he would turn on God, and he never did. And again, what really sort of you get is the brutality of what the Richard Coyle character does. He, as you say, kills this girl by sort of cutting her motorbike wires, and as she tries to get away, he obviously kills her. But then he drags the body, doesn't he, in sort of open CCTV.
Oh, very Luther.
And I like the fact that all of this Hard Sun stuff is in the background. This kind of like apocalypse, and the fact that it's all the conspiracy theory people out there that are getting involved. Well, what do you think? What I mean, I know you saw episode 2 a while ago. You saw episode 3 this week?
The one thing I really like about Hard Sun is Agnes Dean. I think she's really good, and I hope at the end of this she gets a better series. I think she to me is giving a good performance in a sort of subpar series. It has boiled down to sort of stuff I feel these storylines could have worked if they'd have been tweaked in an episode of Luther. There's nothing like the Richard Coyle storyline couldn't have been done, like this religious guy who's gone too far could have easily been a 2-parter in a series of Luther, really, for me.
I would agree that that you could lift it out of, it's definitely specific to this story, but I like the reason behind it being the hard sun thing in the background.
Yeah, but then easily, I mean, the hard sun thing is really, for me, the best bit of this series was the start of episode 2 with all the stuff with the journalist when she's got this flash drive and things like that, and then, oh no, it was a hoax, so let's do a murder of the week storyline. I like Richard Coyle, I like Dermot Crowley, I think their performances are good, but I disagree about the story. I find it quite dull. I find it all a bit big and sort of almost like self-important, I would say.
Okay.
I'm intrigued a little bit to see how they wind up the Richard Coyle thing, but generally I think it is a squandered premise. I think they should be focusing more on the hard sun thing, and it feels very much like Luther-esque crazy murderer of the week or murderer of the fortnight storyline. But I really, as I said, Agnes Dean is fantastic in this, but I don't know if she's enough. Jim Sturgis doesn't do anything for me at all. I don't think he has the charisma to pull off the bonkersness of Neil Cross's writing like Idris Elba does. He hasn't got the charisma of an Idris Elba.
I don't think Hicks is in anywhere near it. I think the problem is as well is we really are getting drip-fed about Hicks. He himself, what we're seeing that he has done doesn't marry up with the actions that we actually see him doing. In the second episode, he gets estranged from his wife for a short amount of time, but he does get back together. There's nothing about him meeting up with the Nicholson family that you, the viewer, see, but obviously we don't see everything. So I do wonder whether maybe what they'll do in the last 2 episodes is give you more of that link, which might make his character more interesting for you.
You just aren't given enough reason to care about Charlie and care about this investigation. You didn't know Butler. You've got no prior knowledge of him and their relationship. The only thing you do know is that he's now, boffing his wife on the side. And also these sort of other detectives who aren't Hicks or Renko are very much interchangeable, and you could have given, I said this last week about Before We Die, you can give their dialogue to anyone, and it reminds, they remind me a lot of the supporting players in Relic, of what I watched of Relic. There's nothing about these other policemen. They try and give them like personalities and things like that.
They are very much like, and I know you don't watch this, so they are very much like the detectives that come in and out of Silent Witness. So yeah, I do kind of agree with you on that. But I have to say that I like the overall storyline, so I'm definitely going to stick with it.
If it is worth sticking with you, let me know and I might catch up with it.
You're not even tempted to stick around for the end of the double header?
Maybe. I don't know. Again, it depends. Like I said with Versace, it depends if I've got enough time, because I'm quite busy this next month. So.
Okay. You can watch some the Saturday nights on BBC One, or it is all available on the iPlayer at the moment.